Part 3. Those who doubt the resurrection are of three kinds. The suspicion of those who deny the resurrection. 1. The body and the earth is mixed in such a way that prevents any separation or the possibility of separation.
2. The resurrection is not related to power.
3. If a generation died and another one is created to take its place, it is not wisdom to destroy them all and then resurrect them again. The proof of resurrection. 1. Stating the perfection of Allah, God's knowledge, as he said while answering those who said in the coming verse,
أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِن نُّطْفَةٍ فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُّبِينٌ وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا وَنَسِيَ خَلْقَهُ قَالَ مَن يُحْيِي الْعِظَامَ وَهِيَ رَمِيمٌ قُلْ يُحْيِيهَا الَّذِي أَنشَأَهَا أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَهُوَ بِكُلِّ خَلْقٍ عَلِيمٌ.
Which means, who will give life to these bones when they have rotted away and became dust? Say, O Muhammad, he will give life to them who created them for the first time, and he is the all-knower of every creation. Chapter Yasin, verses 78 and 79. And he the Exalted says too,
وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَإِنَّ السَّاعَةَ لَآتِيَةٌ فَاصْفَحِ الصَّفْحَ الْجَمِيلَ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ هُوَ الْخَلَّاقُ الْعَلِيمُ.
Which means, and the hour is surely coming, so overlook, O Muhammad, their faults with gracious forgiveness. Verily, your Lord is the all-knowing Creator. Chapter 15 verses 85 to 86, and he, the Exalted, says in the Quran,
قَدْ عَلِمْنَا مَا تَنْقُصُ الْأَرْضُ مِنْهُمْ وَعِنْدَنَا كِتَابٌ حَفِيظٌ.
meaning, we know indeed what the earth diminishes of them, and with us is a book preserved. The second proof of resurrection. Stating the perfection of Allah's power. Allah, God, says in the Quran,
أَوَلَيْسَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِقَادِرٍ عَلَى أَن يَخْلُقَ مِثْلَهُم بَلَى وَهُوَ الْخَلَّاقُ الْعَلِيمُ. إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُ إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا أن يقول له كن فيكون. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون.
Which means, is not he who created the heavens and the earth able to create the like of them? Yes, indeed. He is the all-knowing, supreme Creator. Chapter 36 verse 81.
And he, the Exalted, says,
بَلَى قَادِرِينَ عَلَىٰ أَن نُّسَوِّيَ بَنَانَهُ.
Chapter 75, verse 4. Which means, yes, indeed we are able to put together in perfect order the tips of his fingers. And he, the Exalted, says,
ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأنه يحيي الموتى وأنه على كل شيء قدير.
Chapter 22, verse 6. Which means, that is because Allah, God, is the truth, and because He gives life to the dead, and because He is over all things competent.
Allah God the Exalted combines these two matters when He says,
أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم.
Is not He who created the heavens and the earth able to create the like of them? Yes, indeed. He is the all-knowing, supreme Creator. Chapter 36 verse 81. The third proof of resurrection. The perfection of His wisdom. Allah, God, says in the Quran,
وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاءَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا لَاعِبِينَ.
Which means, and we did not create the heaven and earth and that between them for a mere play. Chapter 21, verse 16.
And He, the Exalted, says,
وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاءَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا بَاطِلًا.
Which means, and we did not create the heaven and the earth and that between them aimlessly, without purpose. Chapter 38, verse 27.
And He, the Exalted, says,
أَيَحْسَبُ الْإِنسَانُ أَن يُتْرَكَ سُدًى.
Which means, does man think that he will be left neglected? Meaning, without being punished or rewarded for the obligatory duties enjoined by his Lord Allah on him?
And He, the Exalted, says,
أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقُّ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ رَبُّ الْعَرْشِ الْكَرِيمِ.
Which means, did you think that we had created you in play, without any purpose, and that you would not be brought back to us? So exalted be Allah, God, the true King. There is no God except He, Lord of the noble throne.
And He, the Exalted, says,
أَمْ حَسِبَ الَّذِينَ اجْتَرَحُوا السَّيِّئَاتِ أَن نَّجْعَلَهُمْ كَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَوَاءً مَّحْيَاهُمْ وَمَمَاتُهُمْ سَاءَ مَا يَحْكُمُونَ.
Which means, or do those who commit evil deeds think that we shall make them equal with those who believe in the oneness of God and do righteous deeds, whether in their present life and after their death? Worst is the judgment that they make. The resurrection is a reality. It is known by the mind that Allah God is perfect, His names and attributes obligate this matter, and Allah is in no need of those who deny this truth, and His perfection is free from any defects or faults. Allah, the Exalted, told mankind that whoever disbelieves is confused, but that they did not gain anything from this confusion. God says in the Quran,
بل كذبوا بالحق لما جاءهم فهم في أمر مريج.
So they are in a confused state. Meaning, can't differentiate between right and wrong.
Then, in this chapter, Allah, God invited them to consider the heavens, the way they have been built, their height, straightness, and beauty. And then to look at the earth, and how He spread it out, prepared it for its purposes, fixed it with mountains, and provided all the means of life. He produces every good kind of plant with their different shapes, colors, amounts, benefits, and qualities. This indeed provides an insight and a reminder for every servant who turns to Allah, that is to say, who believes in Allah, God, obeys His commands, and always begs for His forgiveness. If he ponders on this, he will perceive the meaning, which the messengers told us about concerning monotheism and the resurrection. Whoever looks at the heavens and the earth will firstly meditate and secondly remember, and this will provide deeper insight to the servant who always turns to Allah, God, with his body, heart, and soul.
Allah, God, then invited them to think about the source of their subsistence, food, clothing, ships, and gardens. The source is water, which Allah, God, sends down from the sky and blessed it until He produces therewith gardens and grain, different kinds of fruit, black, white, red, yellow, sweet and sour. Allah, God, shows the difference in their use and kinds, and He also shows the grain and its use, qualities, shapes, and amounts. He then mentions the palm trees as they contain a lesson and meaning, which will not be left a secret for the one who meditates.
إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وبث فيها من كل دابة وتصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض لآيات لقوم يعقلون.
God, the Almighty, says in the Quran,
فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها,
which means, and makes the earth alive therewith after its death. Chapter 2, verse 164.
Then, God the Almighty, says in the Quran,
أفلم ينظروا إلى السماء فوقهم كيف بنيناها وزيناها وما لها من فروج والأرض مددناها وألقينا فيها رواسي وأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج بهيج تبصرة وذكرى لكل عبد منيب. ونزلنا من السماء ماء مباركا فأنبتنا به جنات وحب الحصيد والنخل باسقات لها طلع نضيد رزقا للعباد وأحيينا به بلدة ميتا كذلك الخروج.
which means, thus will be the resurrection of the dead, chapter 50 verse 11.
It means, that just as plants, fruit and grain are brought out from the earth, you will be resurrected from the earth after having been mixed with it.
We have mentioned this analogy, and examples of other analogies mentioned in the Quran, in a book entitled Al-Ma'alim, and we explained some of their lessons. Then Allah, God, determines prophethood using the best of determinations, the most concise words, and far removed from all suspicion and doubt. He informed mankind, that he sent messengers to the people of Noah, peace be upon him, people of Ad, people of Samud, the people of Lot, peace be upon him, and the people of Pharaoh, but they disbelieved in them. So he destroyed them with different kinds of destruction, and he proved the truth of what the messengers had promised them. This is proof of their prophethood, and the prophethood of he who informed us about them. This is the prophet who had neither learned from a teacher nor read from a book. He informed us about it in detail exactly like the people of the book. Nothing refutes this except the question of those liars who deny the final resurrection. Whoever asks this question, is a liar, and such is the one who denies what has been proven and what has been passed down through the generations by the prophets and those who follow in their footsteps. Denying such a matter is like denying the existence of famous kings, scientists, and remote countries.
In the coming part, we will continue reading chapter 2, which is about the beginning of creation, resurrection, and the principles of monotheism mentioned in the Quran, chapter 50, Qaf. The author will be talking about the meaning of lethargy, and about writing the deeds of man and the two resurrections.